Moving on to module 3, this is a big module. This is replacing entire other companies. This is our data module. Here you can pull data and you can also skip trace. If you guys are on pre-launch accounts, we're giving you guys amazing deals on these data pull and skip tracing. We're giving you really big discounts, but even for regular users after pre-launch, we're giving the cheapest rates on the market for both data and skip trace. And the data and skip tracing that we get is actually from the largest data broker that there is. And so this is actually the highest quality data you can get, while we are also at the same time offering it for the lowest price on the market. We get a huge discount because we have to do an extreme amount of bulk purchases for these, which is why we get a cheaper rate. Not because we're using cheaper or low quality data and we're passing that on to you guys essentially. Let's just start here. We can either type an address or we can type whole zip codes. So for a whole zip code, we could add this. You could add this. You can add as many zip codes as you want. So you could do a search of 8 zip codes that are not close to each other. They could even be in different states if you wanted them to be. But let's just start here with near address. This does our autofill again, and you can select a radius that's close to that address, or you can just do whole counties, and you can even do whole states. For example, the entire state of Arizona. Now, I don't know other platforms that let you do this large amount of area. Most of them make you draw little circles, and there's only a certain amount of radius you're allowed to search. So you have to go on a map, draw a bunch of stuff, and then hopefully you can get everything you want. Here, you could just type the whole of Arizona and search an entire state. So let's just leave this radius blank for now. We're just going to pick everything in Arizona. And what we've done here is made this extremely simple. What we've done in Reios is curated the best things for you that we know that work, so you're not wasting your time on things that are not revenue generating activities. So for example, you don't need to learn about 1,000 different fields. You don't have to try and distinguish which ones are the best. We've already curated the best ones for you. Those we call our golden filters. And we've got different strategies here: sub-2, wholesale cash offer, land deals, and we're adding more. But let's just look at an example of what one of these is. Let's look at small vacant, which we have great success with. It's a single family, max build of 1990, max square feet of 2,000, individually owned, years of ownership, minimum 5 years, last sale price $150,000, equity minimum 30%. So that is a very specific search that you're not going to find on some other site. And even if they have the ability to search these exact filters, it would take you forever to try and go through and pick all of these filters, or to go through hundreds of filters and find these and then decide by trial and error and testing that these are the best. So you don't even have to do that with us. You come over here to golden filters, look through some of our amazing golden filters that work really well already. Like, look at this: liens, year built, max 1990, max square feet 2,000, minimum lien about $2,000, lien type other, which is important, equity minimum 30%, ownership minimum 5 years. You will never find a more specific search than that. And again, these are already curated for you. You just click one and then you hit next. It does the search for you in Arizona. So let's go off golden filters for just a minute, because I want to show you some people want other things aside from golden filters. So we do have options that you can pick, and I just want to show you the process here. So it's still extremely easy if you want to choose your own. Let's just say an off-market single family that's privately owned, or it could be an on-market multifamily that's corporate owned, right? So you can pick whatever you want here. Expired is great to search if you have a expired single family that's privately owned. You know that they tried to sell it previously, but it canceled. So you know they're looking to sell. But let's just remove all this. Let's make it easy and go off-market single family privately owned in Arizona. The next set of filters we have here, you can pick any of these so that it will search any of these, or you can choose all. So it has to be these specifically. Obviously, on all, it couldn't be foreclosure and pre-foreclosure. So if we choose all, it only lets us pick one of these. We have lenders. If we choose all, it'll only let us pick one, of course, because it can't be a VA and a USDA. And if we pick any, we could pick, all right, it could be VA or it could be USDA. So that's what this toggle up here does. But let's just say any right now, and let's take off foreclosure. Let's go with lenders, VA, and USDA. So we know for sure they have a low interest rate with one of these lenders. And we're actually adding search by exact interest rate where you can put 5% or less, 4% or less. So you can get even more granular with this, but let's just hold it off here. We have property built date as well. And then we have custom fields. Right now we have about 60 fields that we load to each file, each document that we create from these searches when you pull data, but some people might not want all of these in every data pull. So they might not want the notes here or remarks. We'll remove that with this little minus. Auction date, auction address, those are for foreclosures only. Foreclosure case number here. So if you're not doing foreclosures, these fields will just be blank. So you can just go over here to selected, remove those with the minus, and then they won't go onto your document. If you'd like more or you'd like to put these back, you just hit the little plus and they go back over there. There you go. No problem. Now I'm going to turn this off because, again, I just want this to be simple for this. If we go next, you see here that there's 99,228 records that have matched our search in Arizona. So you'll see the credits you need to pull that full list and the credits available to pull that full list. But we know you don't always want to pull the full list. This is a pretty big list, and maybe you just want to get a little bit of a head start on it or do a little test. So you can toggle this partial list here, and you can choose how many credits you want to spend. Maybe we just want to spend 100 credits here. You can drag this bar, but I just like to type this in, so we'll say partial list of 100 credits, submit, and we see this transaction as we usually do. Are you sure? Yes. Now, we've spent our 100 credits here, and you see a notification that says we've pulled these 33 records. And now we can download this, and you see here it is. Now, something I want to mention to you is how easy was that to pull that data? I know I'm describing it to you, so it took a little bit longer, but if I wasn't here talking to you, it would have taken 10 seconds. And something else that a lot of other platforms do wrong is the user experience. So what happens in another platform when you pull data? As I mentioned, shows you a map, takes a long time to load. You have to try and input a bunch of different things and figure out which filters you want. You got to click through the UI and add or remove things. And then once you want to pull the data, you have a limit per month per account that you're allowed to have. Usually it's a couple thousand. And then if you go past that, then you have to update your account and pay again and do something different. And even once you pull that list, what happens? You pull the list and it says, okay, make a name for your list, and then you got to try and remember the filters that you chose, right? Have you ever done that? Where you pick 7 filters and you really get granular with your search, and then you tell it to save the data, and then it pops up a box that says name your list. I don't remember the exact 7 fields that I chose, and now I have to name the list, and if I click back, it unchooses all those filters. So, right, it's a big problem with the user interface. And so this, again, is something that seems small, but it's huge when you're using this system actually for your business. So anytime you create a document, you see here, it's called property data, great, Arizona, off-market, privately owned, single-family, lenders, VA, USDA, pulled 1/12/2024. It's literally the most descriptive file title that you could get. And so we do this with all of our documents. Why other companies and platforms don't do this, I don't know. It's completely insane. But now in your hard drive at home, if you download this, you know exactly what the file was. It's not going to be called file 84321 and then test list 6 because you couldn't remember what you put in as the filters for the list, right? It's automatically done for you here. So let's just open this up real quick. So you can see here all the fields that we have on here automatically. You'll see some empty fields here, like I said, for foreclosures. If there's no foreclosure information, it's just blank. But this is our data. So there you go. We've just pulled a list of 33 records, that easy, automatically named, no problem. Now, the next thing is skip tracing. Skip tracing in other platforms, super hard, is very difficult to do. After you've gone through the craziness of naming your files and all of this, then they make you send it to another part of their platform, which for some reason is separated. Then you have to rename it. You have to pick which fields you want. Again, you have to pick which records you want to add. Then when you try to skip trace, it says, oh, actually, you got to buy some more credits. You have to go through another transaction process. Then you have to spend a minimum of $50 on credits, even if it's only going to cost you $2 to do the skip tracing. So you got to prepay a bunch. And then once you start the skip tracing, they put it in a queue and it tells you what? You got to wait 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And then you just have to keep clicking refresh, try and get it. The whole thing is horrible and a mess. So I know you've used that before. If you've used any other platform, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's check out our skip trace. Okay, we have the data here. We don't even have to download it and re-upload it. We'll just click skip trace this data, and we can remove do not call and litigators. But it tells us our available credits and credits needed again for these 33. Let's just click yes. Accept. All right, so that's it. The skip trace is done. We've skip traced these 33 records. We spent this many credits, and these are our remaining credits. So we can click this download skip trace, and now you see this file that has this perfect name. Now we've added skip traced at the end. So now you know these two documents together. So you've got the data only document. It's perfectly named. You know what it is on your hard drive. And now you see the exact same document name. So you know it's exactly the same as the data. But now this one has skip traced at the end. Again, a little thing, but it's huge when you're actually doing business and you have lots of files and you're pulling lots of data. Maybe you don't know if you skip traced a file or not. This is it. So there you go. Now it says skip traced. And if you look at it, we've added the emails and phone numbers. We've appended it to the end here. I don't want to look at CSV files too long, so I really want to focus on the system. But you see here a button that says assign to cold callers. Now, I just want to show you this flow really quick to show you how easy this is. And I'll get into this deeper in just a moment. But if we click assign to cold callers, we've already purchased 48 cold call hours. So let's say we just want 20 hours for the cold callers to call that list for 20 hours. And we hit submit. We see our available hours and how many to assign, accept. Okay, we've just assigned 20 hours to that list. And if we go over here to module 4 and cold caller files, this file that we just pulled the data and skip traced is set up to be called by cold callers for 20 hours. That's it. So think about how easy that was just now for you to pull the data, skip trace it, and assign it to cold callers. You didn't even have to download the file. I did just to show you, but you can just leave it straight up in the system. You don't even have to download the file. And now, after we approve this list, we have to look through it, make sure it's formatted properly, and then assign it to the cold callers. But they're going to start making calls on this automatically. And then every time they have a call, there'll be notes for each call, and those will get updated in your Module 4 homepage. This is ready for cold callers. And you just wait for the cold callers to give you notifications that they have somebody interested in selling as a hot lead. And then that's when you pick up the phone and you give them a call. And by then they're already qualified and they've already talked to the cold caller. They just want price. They want to sign some contracts. So very simple, and it's all built in directly to Reios. Now, before we get into Module 4, too heavy, I do want to go back over here to Module 3 because we do have a saved search. So this is very helpful if you want to test things, or you want to do the same type of search multiple times, or more importantly, if you want to change your output fields. So let's just do this real quick. If we go next and set custom fields, let's turn off blenders here. But let's remove a couple of these and hit save search and hit submit. Okay, we've just saved this search now. So if we get out of here and then we go back into Module 3, everything is blank, right? If we go to use save search and we pick input fields that we just selected and load it, it loads everything. The address, it loads the filters you had, it loads the fields you saved. It will literally save everything that you've done in here. So again, no other platform is doing it like this where it's so brain dead, super simple, and extremely fast. And that's the thing as real estate investors, we want it to be fast and easy. I don't want to have to spend my time and energy learning how to use a platform to pull data, right? What I want to do is come in here into Reios, type in where I want it, click a couple buttons, hit next, click a couple more buttons, hit next, hit submit, hit skip trace, and then hit cold call. That's it. I want to take a couple of seconds and do the whole thing. So that's what Reios does. If you'd like to find any documents that you've created later, we have this downloads page where it shows all of our data records, either from pulling data or from skip trace. And we also have an amazing ability, which you don't see in other platforms, which is continued data pull. So when we pulled this data record, there was 99,288 records, and we only pulled 33 out of those. So what if we either liked the list or had good experience with the cold callers, or maybe, like I said, we did a test and now we want the rest? All you got to do is click continue data pull, and you see this is the remainder. It's already removed the record you pulled already, which was 33 from the total. So you're not going to re-pull the 33 and the rest. The 33 stays pulled already that you did originally, and this is the remainder minus those initial 33. So it keeps track of everything. You're not paying for data multiple times. So let's just say we want to do another 33 records, which go submit, accept. Okay, we pulled it. So now let's look at our downloads. Now we see we pulled 66 total out of this 99,241. You see it's the same name. On an older version of this document, we obviously don't want to re-pull, again, the same records, right? We've already pulled an extra 33, and they're on this document. So if we do continue data pull on this older version, it'll say you've already pulled that version, and there's already a newer version. And when you hit OK, it automatically shows you the newest version. Now, since these are right next to each other, you might not realize how useful that is. But imagine you have a data pull that's down here. Let's say 1160, and let's say another 100 credits worth. And now let's go back to the download section, and let's go 1160 here. And now if we do continue data pull, it'll tell us we've already got a new version of this. And now this pulls us all the way up to the top, the newest version, and then lets us continue from there. So again, something that you're not going to see this type of user experience in other systems. And these are the things that we're thinking about is you guys, how do we make this the easiest, quickest type of UI and UX? And so this is it. Also, you saw that there's a number here, which makes it super easy to know which records you're dealing with. So as I just mentioned, I went to 1160 that's listed over here. And so I know how to come back to it. And if you click any of these numbers, it actually pops up a box where you can report any issues you have with the list. We work really hard on our system, but potentially there might be a glitch or some problem in the future where the internet is down when you're trying to do this. Maybe there's some outage across the world or in data centers. If you have some problem with your list, you can just click on the number that's right next to it. I have an issue, and then hit submit. There you go. That just got sent to the back office with this number attached, so we know the exact file, and we can look at it on our end, and our user support can reach out to you and check the issue. If you've ever been on another platform, you know how hard it is to try and get a hold of support, and it's usually a completely separate thing, and it's a ticket system, and you have to sign into a subdomain and then create a new account and then try to tell them what happened on the other domain and send pictures or videos. It's a whole mess. Here in Reios, again, we're making it super dead simple and the most awesome user experience that you can have. Click this over here, hit submit, it comes to us. Done. We can check it. We have the same thing over here with this report an issue. This is system-wide. You have any issue with the entire system, you see here's your first and last name, and then also the email address, and then please tell us the issue you're having. Same thing. If you said, my credits are not showing, and hit submit, that just got sent. Again, you see issue sent. That just got sent to the back office, and we can have support follow up with you immediately. So super simple on the support side. Those are the important things here. You can download these files anytime you want, and you can also do an amazing search either by the number here. So we remembered 1160 from earlier. If I want to find it again, I can just type it. But you can type anything. So you could type off market, and this will pull every list that you pulled that were off market. You could type Maricopa County, and it'll pull up all of the records that have Maricopa County. So this is a really amazing search that we built in for you guys, and you can search anything that's in here. So you could type skip trace only, and it would show only the files that have skip trace. You could search a date, since we have those automatically, and it would pull up every list that you pulled on that date. So this search really is powerful, especially with these unique numbers. Now, before we move away from Module 3, let's just check out two really quick things that we have in here for you. We also have straight up skip tracing. If you got a document you've got from somewhere else, click Upload Document, upload it here, and then you can skip trace in seconds, just like when you did it from our property data pull. And then we also have here copy and paste skip trace. So you can use multiple addresses at the same time or a single address. If you know there's an address that you see online or that you are doing driving for dollars, and you just want to paste this in here and then skip trace it very quick. Then you'll see this one, submit, accept transaction. There you go. We skip traced that one address, and now we have all of the user's information. You can immediately call them or text them. It's super easy, and this is something, again, other companies don't do. You have to go through a big UI and search for the property and click on it and add it to a list, name the list, move the list to skip tracing, select that, add the fields, pay some credit, right? It's ridiculous. You're in here, you have Reios, you're on your cell phone, you're driving by a house that looks kind of distressed, you go skip trace, copy, paste, you start typing in the address, and it pops up, you autofill it, next, and then that's it. You skip trace it, download the file, you got it immediately. You click the link, and you call them in seconds. This is Reios, right? This is what it should be. Moving forward for us, one of the updates we're going to be doing is a Driving for Dollars app, where it's even easier to just open the app and do this copy, paste, skip trace. But for now, you can do this straight from your computer, and you can also do it straight from your cell phone. So it's still extremely easy.